ask for the pledge yet.
I like to stand. That's what I do.
Okay, it is Tuesday, November 17th, 2020. We'll call the meeting to order. Please stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Morning up, morning.
Okay, minutes and reports received and filed.
The October 2020 collector's fees were filed.
Okay. Commissioner Committee Liaison reports, upcoming meetings and events.
Blood drive today at Shepherd's Distributing, which kind of seems funny. I think you get a free t-shirt,
They really need the
but
blood.
no free beer.
They really need the blood though, right now.
Yeah.
I don't think I know if it'll be until December 1st, so, but I did have it on the calendar in case it was. Let's see, we got a Cole County Hazard Mitigation Planning meeting tomorrow. I think that's via Zoom or WebEx or something too. Meeting Thursday. Got an Eco Devo meeting Thursday as well, the transition team. That's about it.
Okay. I've got tomorrow a Central Workforce Caucus and my bank board meeting. Thursday, yeah, we'll have the CARES meeting if necessary. I'd like to get done by 9 a.m. because the health department's doing a webinar press conference. Saturday, KWAS, we're doing their program at my store. Monday, we have a city healthcare health department webinar at 8. And then we've got that our MAC conference virtual meeting Monday and Tuesday. I didn't register. Is anybody doing that?
I didn't.
I'm.
Registered.
You did or didn't?
I did not.
Okay, yeah, I think we got enough stuff to do. You got anything on your calendar, Chris?
I got an RPC executive board meeting Wednesday at 11:30, and then trying to move a road and bridge advisory meeting that was scheduled for Thursday because it conflicts with our commission meeting. But anyway, that's about it.
Okay. Any commission comments, bids and contracts, unfinished business? New business, accounts payable?
I'd ask for approval of accounts payable pending review.
So
So
moved.
moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Let's get that done.
Okay. We'll go right into the CARES Act funding then.
Julie, I'll turn that over to you.
All right, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Morning.
Hope y'all are doing well today. So we're gonna talk first, if you'll look at the agenda, just to talk about the expedited spending options, which are in the allocation proposal that we sent. Give me just a second to get there. So if you will notice, on that first page, what we have is a reallocation proposal. And essentially what it is taking the $4 million and reallocating it to where, kind of at the bottom of each page, you'll see the remaining allocations available. So you can see for the schools, we have reallocated the funds to get to $1 million. And then going forward in phase 4, that would be what the proposed allocation would be. For the cities, $1 million. For healthcare, we had started at $1 million, and I know we approved a few things last week, so that balance is now $671,000. And then if you go to the next page for the county, you can see the remaining balance there is 542,000, 959,000 remaining in contingency. So I kind of think about those two numbers together, roughly $1.5 million. Now, we'll say, late yesterday we got, I believe Debbie sent us over the, all of the public health and public safety numbers. That's roughly about 4.5 million, just as a, so you have the context. And so with that, knowing that we want to try to balance, what we're allocating to the public versus what we're spending internally, I just kind of wanted to stop, let you all ask questions and talk through any of that methodology you agree with or anything you might want to change. And I will point out, we've got 6 weeks before the end of the year. I know it will be here, and that includes the holiday, for Thanksgiving and then the holidays in December. So just kind of want to keep that in mind as well for processing and time spent.
So we're gonna give the proposal is to give $1 million to, additional $1 million to schools, but there's no additional, there is additional money for the cities, no additional money for medical or healthcare.
Yeah.
Is that, am I following that right?
Yeah, you are. And that's kind of the decision is, do we need to put more money into testing with healthcare? Do we want that to come out of contingency? Those are kind of the decisions that we need to talk through and decide on.
Chris, I don't know if I understood you, but there's $1.5 million for medical centers, nursing homes. Is that something different than what you were thinking?
But that $1.5 million, there's a additional 23,000 looks like there, but $1.5 million was what we had in there for medical health care.
Essentially, think about you were at $1 million last week.
Right.
With 329,000, which leaves you, or leaves the county obviously, 671,000.
Yeah, we approved about $1 million last week, yeah.
Yep.
But down at the bottom on the allocation proposals, you have proposal, you have the $1 million for cities and you have another $1 million for the healthcare, right?
Well, again, though, going forward, because we approved 300, let's just kind of keep the math simple.
Okay,
because
yeah.
we approved 300,000
Yeah, for the,
last week. There's 700,000, 671,000 remaining in that healthcare category. One option is if you still feel like there needs to be plenty of money available for testing and medical, if you think about just those 3 buckets together is, let's just say 2.7 million, it can certainly just make it 900 and point there.
I think schools are priority. I think healthcare, because it's, we've been doing these webinars with our hospitals and JCMG. It's really, really bad.
Yeah.
So I think right now, I'd like to allocate as much as we can to healthcare, whether you take it away from the cities or whether I don't know. We're in crisis times right now.
Yeah. Well, and, another option is, you don't have to make designated allocation. You know, we can still keep phase 3 going. And again, it's all based on need. If people put forth the applications, you have $4 million to spend. You can determine, yes, we want to fund those things. Yes, we want to fund internal health and public safety salaries. So you're not really, you don't need to be locked in because things are so fluid. It's more about making sure that you spend the money in a way that you want to so that it can be distributed, you know, in a timely manner and still not have to give it back.
Yeah, I think we can spend all this money. I think we should spend all this money to help everybody we can in Cole County. That's what the money was given to us for. So I have no intention of giving back even $100 to the treasurer if we can, because I think there's enough need for this money right here.
So maybe that's the first discussion point is, do you want to try to allocate it, or would you all rather let phase 3 continue and then just try, and then as we continue to get applications, fund items as you see the need?
We can do the applications as we receive them. I mean, it doesn't matter how we do it. We just need to do it.
Right. I mean, we don't have to make it more complicated than it has to be. If, you know, if the schools come forward with their requests and cities come forward with their requests and medical, you know, nonprofits and small business, we can continue to, you know, as long as the $4 million is, that the goal is to use it up.
Yeah.
And by the demonstration of the applications you're getting, that demonstrates the need, so.
The only drawback is the schools knew their limit before, so that's what they submitted. You know, the cities knew their limits, but some of them submitted more, of course. But,
Right.
so I don't know if the schools will jump back in there and put an application out if they don't know there's additional funding available. That's the only.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point, Debbie.
Well, you're telling them there's additional funding available, it's just not earmarked to a certain area, so anybody could submit an application for it, schools, cities, healthcare.
We can reiterate that to them, I guess, on the website if you want, where the application is. As they were
Yeah,
told before, it was a limit.
I'm not advocating for either way right now. I'm juggling it around which way to go with it. I'm just saying that if we know it's out there, they can still apply for it.
Yeah, I think.
And we can, sorry, go ahead.
Well, I know Sheriff Wheeler's been working with JCPD or 911 or something on a kind of a joint project, and that's going to be coming up. And I know our EMS has some things that are coming up, and so internally, I know we're going to. Well, I don't know if that'd be internal or if we could take that out of the city. I don't know. It doesn't matter where we take it, but we know we've got some kind of hefty amounts coming down, so.
And we can communicate, you know, with phase 3, we can, you know, just update the press release and notify the schools and, you know, that the process is still open and it is based on need, and, you know, just let that process continue.
So we could do like the healthcare that's on our recommendations today, and then just kind of take it out of this pool.
Yeah, you know, if we'd like, just to give you a sense, let me go ahead and turn it over to Teresa to walk through those funding recommendations, and then that'll give us a sense of kind of where we're at.
Okay.
All right, so we'll start off at the top there. No municipality applications, this week. That same one for, Jefferson City School Districts for the $510,000. That's a rollover from last week. So if you wanted to consider that, we could do that. The next one is going to be an internal application. This is a new one from EMS, and I believe they have presented this to you already for that pre-approval. So this is the ventilator upgrades for the ambulances, and that's in the amount of $55,000.
Yeah, we ought to do that today.
Good.
All right, so I'll make a motion, we approve D-03-12.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay.
Moving right along, going down to the healthcare providers. Nothing new from the last time we presented this. Again, this is the first one in 1910. That is Cap Region. And then the 1977 and the 3870 are St. Mary's SSM. So if you wanted to consider any of those expenses today, you could do that as well.
So in phase 3, if I'm reading this right, we got 671,107 remaining for medical health care.
If you chose to do that allocation that we had proposed, if not, you have however much you want. Because if we go back to originally, it'd just be minus that $23,000 change. So yeah, approximately, I'm trying to think if that would be up or down. So it'd be 650. Yeah, 650 if you go with your original allocation from phase 3.
So whatever we got left, I'm ready to disperse it today. So do we add the 23,968 or do we not add that in there? We'll take the 1.5 million that we had in 2 and 3, deduct all the other things except for the 23,968. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, if you wanted to be consistent with the phase 3 allocation, you would have, let me do the math here real quick. $647,139 remaining.
647,139.
Correct.
Okay, so the last time we did the allocations for the E1910 and 1977, we based it on the numbers on the tests, the percentage of tests, and if you guys are all right, then I'm fine just doing it the same way. Let's get that money out there, let's get it to them and get it working for us.
Yeah.
So the 647,139.
So that would make it for Cap Region 379,252, and for St. Mary's 267,887. Is that what you get?
Somewhere close to that, 58.6%, but if you used 0.59 or whatever, it's gonna come out.
Correct.
So-
Cap Region was 58.6%, and St. Mary's was 41.4%.
Yeah, so whatever the number comes up to, if you're good with that, we can get that one done.
So you're just dispersing that based on the percentages you used before?
Correct.
Well, okay, that 267, is that more than what they've actually asked for, St. Mary's here?
Correct, Debbie, I was just gonna say that, that's slightly more by 43,000.
Yeah, something like that.
But again, I'm sure they would have additional expenditures if you wanted to just kind of allocate that to them. We
So-
could get that worked out with them to give us an additional 42 or whatever I said,
Okay.
45 of
Yeah.
expenditures.
Then if they don't have the expenditure, then we can reallocate it to the other one.
Well, I would think they would, 'cause isn't this just through August? These,
The E 1977 was through August. The E 3870 for St. Mary's, that's through, I can't remember exactly, sometime in October.
Okay.
So I'm sure they've got November expenditures as well.
Yeah.
That they could present.
Okay. Well, let's just do it that way and tell them to submit their expenditures, and then we can disperse it once we get
Sounds
the
good.
reimbursement amounts. So,
Teresa, can you give me those amounts again?
379, 252 for Cap Region,
And what,
and 267, 887.
and again, the percentages?
58.6 for Cap Region, and 41.4 for St. Mary's.
Okay.
And that again is based on their testing as of approximately October 15th.
So maybe you can do your award based on them also producing more expenses for that additional amount.
well, we've been approving a lot of these contingent upon them submitting their reimbursement expenses
Sure.
and such, right?
Well,
This
we
amounts the
have an
same.
amount here usually. We have an amount that exceeds it usually.
Almost seems like we should reimburse St. Mary's for what they've applied for, and then maybe give the rest to the Cap region, and then, you know, if they want to reapply, then obviously there could be more funding available.
I think give them opportunity to submit more expenditures, because just because they didn't submit more doesn't mean they don't have more. They just were going with what we had funded from the start, right?
I think they're gonna have more. They're definitely gonna have more.
Well, then probably so would capital. I don't know.
Yeah, so I mean, we can do it either way for right now. It's,
I mean, we can keep the difference as a placeholder, and then, you know, circle back probably by next week. Let them have an opportunity to submit that difference, for you all to approve that difference, and then if they, you know, if they don't, by that time, you can always reallocate it if you need to.
Good either way.
Okay, so for today, we're all right doing that full amount to the E 1910 for the 379,252.
Yes.
And then for E 1977, you're suggesting to just do the 112,892, which is what they've got eligible for reimbursement at this time.
Plus the 110 down below. That's them too. Do I understand that
Yep.
right, Teresa?
Okay,
yeah, so
the
230.
Correct.
230,
Okay.
They have a total of 223,647 that's eligible.
yeah.
223,
643.
643, yeah.
643, and that's for E 3870.
And the other one, just
The other one's 1977.
because they're just different applications.
So that leaves 44,523 that they haven't, that based on what we were talking about earlier, that they would need to submit.
Okay. I'm fine with leaving that out there for now. If they don't want to submit another application, then we can give it to Cap. So, y'all good with that?
I am good.
Yep.
Okay, so for E 1910, we have 379,252, and then E 1977, 112,892, and E 3870, 110,751. So we'll make a motion to award those.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Okay, moving on to, non-for-profits. Again, have been hanging out here for a little while. We've gone back and forth between what they're actually asking for and what we can approve. The Salvation Army one, it's similar to the Common Grounds one that you approved not too long ago, but I'm still waiting on their actual application so that we can see that they are asking for that COVID kind of barrier that we have to get over, that these are specific to people that had issues because of COVID. We did have one new one for the Cole County Historical Society. It's more of a application that's for utilities and payroll. They've been closed basically since the pandemic began. So we're out asking a little bit more clarification on what can be approved with that, if they can fall under that small business assistance kind of area, even though they are a not-for-profit. So right now, I'm not bringing that one forward until I get a little more clarification on that guidance. So I'll move down to the businesses. The first one, again, I'm still waiting on a little bit more information, but I did receive more information from the 3575, and they're going to use that for some PPE, some sanitizing, as well as some telework technology is what they laid out for us. So that one is ready to be approved if you would like.
I'm fine.
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
I'm good.
All right,
Okay.
make a motion, we approve the G-03575.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, that's all I have.
Okay. Thank you.
So then we gotta decide if we're going to keep phase 3 open, or if we're gonna move it around and do the phase 4 numbers.
Right.
Where are we at on our internal requests? Are we still doing good to have our stuff covered that we're needing?
So I think EMS is going to be presenting something to you today around $50,000. That's the only one that I've heard in the pipeline.
The only other one I'm working on with Brian is the technology stuff in here that I haven't got yet, so.
So I have that. Do you have any idea, John, what?
We're getting the final numbers together. I'm hoping by Monday we'll have, I have 3 that will be submitted. Now, this is gonna be coming through Sierra.
Okay.
She was off today, I think she's off today, but tomorrow we're supposed to meet with Kristen and, we want to meet with Kristen and Jennifer to talk over how we want to present this, but we're real close to being able to present it.
In December, we can do the internal, whatever we have left, we can do internally for salaries and things like pay, hazard pay or whatever. If you want to do it that way, just take care of all the other requests first and then.
But if the school.
I want to hold off on reallocating money at this time. Take the requests and fund them as we see fit, but I don't really want to allocate money to certain groups.
Okay. Well, we can do like this request from the schools for 510,000. If that, we can do that either Thursday or next week if we want, and that's more than half what we were thinking possibly for the schools. And then see if Blair Oaks and Russellville and some of the other schools.
Would you like me to reach out to those schools and ask them if they wanted to? Because I did reach out specifically to Jefferson City Public Schools after they sent in that first, how much that first semester of expenses were going to be to do another application, just so we could have it on the agenda for us to look at.
I'd reach out
It's up
to
you,
them.
however you guys wanted to do it.
Again,
that practical expedient is out there where you can give them up to $500 per student for the schools. So you wouldn't necessarily need expenditures at some point to approve.
I know Eugene shut down completely, and they said it didn't work worth a darn with what they were trying to do virtually, and I think Blair Oaks has shut down some of their classes again. And Russellville, I don't know,
They've not completely ever shut down, but
they've had class.
more than
Yeah.
half the high school out at one
Yeah.
time.
And I guess the other option is like with that 510,000, you could kind of equate how much that would be for each of the other schools and approve that as well if you wanted to. Again, based on that practical expedient that you could just give the money up to $500 per student.
And that 510,000 meets that criteria?
Correct. I think they're at 4.5 million is kind of their maximum amount that they could give.
Okay.
But I don't think the problem is the virtual learning. I think the problem is that the parents aren't at home for the kids to get online and stay focused. If I was a kid, I wouldn't be doing it. So, I mean, let's get real here. You know, we got parents that are going to work and we got kids that are at home by themselves, and trying to get them to do the work is going to be a challenge.
Well, I had heard in Eugene, they had some mobile hotspots and the kids were supposed to go to those locations to do that. Well, if you're a grade school child and your parents are at work, how the heck do you get to
Exactly.
you can't do it. So it's,
I mean, that's why, you know, I've been supportive of keeping the kids in the seats because
Yeah.
that's the only place that they're gonna learn. Obviously that, you know, they're doing a great job of that, and quarantining classes or quarantining buildings or, you know, certain ones are having to try to do some virtual for 2 weeks but you know, our schools have done a great job, but virtual learning is not gonna help.
yeah, I think Blair Oaks has just shut down some of their grades, I think by grade, so.
So that was my question last week though, is if you're telling me to apply, but you're not telling me how much money's out there, then I'm gonna go through this futile exercise and have to jump through all these hoops, then I don't even know if money's available. I'm pretty sure everybody can get us requests to cover this money 20
Right.
times over.
Yeah.
Same with the hospitals, that was their question too, was, look, we got plenty to cover. We can spend all your money if you want us to, let me know, we can submit the application, but we don't wanna do that if we're not gonna have money available. It's wasting their time, it's wasting our time, so. You know, if they submit applications for it, do we tell them up to a certain amount, and that's kinda where the allocation, that gives them some kind of guideline on what's available. And I'm fine leaving it where it's at right now, working on phase 3, and then just kind of taking stuff as it goes right now. Give us another week to chew on the internal stuff, because we have Thanksgiving the week after. So we'll probably just have one meeting that week.
Next week, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then after that, we're gonna run tight on time, so. Again,
Well, I think if you could reach out to the schools, I mean, if, we're gonna have some money for them. So if they don't apply, they're gonna get zero. They can apply and then you can tell us what we can, help them with. So, you know, something's better than nothing.
And I think as a baseline, Teresa, if you do the calculation that you mentioned about, you know, for the municipalities and what those payments would look like, then we can cap at least the initial, you know, just say, you know, we're looking at on average, you know, this type of expenditure, and then they just have to decide if it's in their best interest or not.
So, so for me, we got $4 million left, and I mean, you start giving $500,000 away here and there, it's not gonna leave the county much as we go into next year to continue to fight this thing, because it's not going away. You know, it may be 4 to 6 months before vaccines start coming out, and so, you know, you're gonna have some expenses going into next year and continuing this, and so I think you guys need to decide how much money you wanna stock away to fight this. And we can do that through those emergency service salaries, and so I was thinking that was somewhere close to $2 million, but maybe you guys got another number.
Well, that's what I was curious about, where we are at with those numbers.
Well, I think Teresa said earlier that we had $4.5 million that was eligible right now.
So what Debbie gave me was, for EMS, I have about 1.9 million. For the sheriff's department, and this is through October, 2.7 million. For the health department, 650,000. And then Debbie had it looked like some COVID specific expenses. She might have to talk about that a little bit more. So I actually had 5.6 million is where I was at. Not sure.
I deducted the COVID related, just because in that particular case, you have to go in and make the case that it's COVID related, so it's a little tougher test is all it is. So that was one of my reasons. I just took the.
Gotcha.
Oh,
We should have done this on Thanksgiving, it's unlimited that day.
What's this, says sheriff department, 2.9 million, what's that for?
That's your total payroll since March till the end of October.
And you're gonna pay that out of CARES? I don't want it. I don't want it. That's unethical. I'm already being public funded. I've got a sales tax. I think it's wrong.
Isn't it unlimited for like $15 a month? Can't we just sign up for it and get this?
I can do the year, I was going to, but if you want to do the month.
I don't care, it's $15, I'll pay it. So it don't keep getting knocked off here.
yeah, I think we're gonna be doing this for, I mean, even if we're not doing it with BKD, but I've got a feeling that probably there will be more aid coming through after the
I'm just gonna start another. meeting
first of
right
the
now.
year. I just don't want to use $4 million for internal. I don't think we're
I don't think
being,
anybody was saying to use that
No.
for internal. That's the whole salary,
yeah,
so
I would think that like December 15th, what we've got left is what we would use for internal salaries. Be my thought.
what? You need Debbie? She's busy.
I'm trying to start a new meeting, is that what everybody's wanting to know?
Yeah, Chris is on the phone, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to start a new meeting, you can tell them.
500 for the schools, is that counting what we already took out?
No, this was a
Well, we
new
already gave them-
request. It
That's
was,
over and above?
it's 510.
No, not that, the 500 per student, that we can just give them.
Well, we can't just give it. They still need to fill a request.
Well, they sounded, you can just give it to them, they can use it
I-
however they want to with it, it's not as much as a reimbursement.
Yeah.
So is that above and of what we did the first
Yeah, yeah,
phase?
yeah, they got, outsourced tuition for online
What did
curriculum.
we do the first phase? What number was it per student that we used?
I'll share with other departments. It's too damn much paper. Where's that other sheet? Oh. $1,009,079. $1,009,079, what we've given to the schools.
How much was that per student?
Oh, I don't know.
$100.
Okay, so
So
then,
now we're talking 500.
so then we could go 400 a student above what we did before, or we can do 500 on top of that?
They're talking 500 per student on top of this.
On top of the 100?
Yeah, yeah.
You sure?
No,
Or
yeah.
500 total?
500 total.
Okay.
Yeah, not 600, not up to like $1 million.
that basically
Which is
goes up.
allocated for schools, so,
I don't know why they're not joining, but
Made him mad.
this is. I have Brian come set me up, it's,
can you join?
That's it. I'll pay the first month. Sam, you got next month. Harry has January.
You guys can do it if you want.
we're
We
good?
have 50 million jobs here. Okay. No, they're not back on. It did. Maybe that one. Over here.
See, if Chris was up, we could do some other business. No, that's not.
Yeah, but you can get in there before.
Oh, there it is. Starts now. Now it's going.
But nobody's getting on. Okay.
John, have you had any additional staff though that you've had to use because of the COVID, either disinfecting or cleaning stuff and things like that? Because that's the kind of stuff that I see this more for, not just salaries in general.
Yeah, and I can see that. I think there's some specialty items like the spray washer that we bought. That's well within the COVID response. But cleaning, like our facility down there, we do that on a regular basis anyway because of germs, because we run a facility in jail. So there's been some other good COVID expenses as far as putting the plastic seats in the back of the patrol cars, making it easier to keep on. That's all been out there. I just, since we already have salaries in our budget for the calendar year, I think it's difficult to say we're going to reimburse ourselves for that when we already get paid. I think you're running a fine line for supplanting. Now, overtime is a little different, I think, specifically for Matt, because some of the overtime that he gets is due to COVID because of that. I get that, but just replacing everybody's salary. For me,
No, I don't think any of us were gonna be advocating for all that. It's,
well, $2.9 million, that's the only way you would do it, is salaries for me, but, you know.
So
Have
I'm
you've
not- well,
turned
I'm
in
not talking about just yours,
the
though.
plastic seats and everything?
Yeah.
You've
so
turned
I got
all that in?
Plastic seats, decontamination.
Okay.
Some half masks that I'm waiting for, I gotta get a fit test machine.
Is everybody there? Chris,
once I
can you hear
get-
me? You're
once
laughing
I
at
start
me.
getting that stuff in, then we'll be able to be more effective, I think, out there and use less PPE like Matt's wanting to do. So, but we're still getting there. We have our nurses now and staff. Part of the contract is for them to do testing on our staff as well as inmates. We've got that procedure worked out.
Operator error.
So it's.
Watch it.
It's going,
Yeah, you can
it's going pretty good.
It's a brave new world we're in.
Can you guys hear me? Hello.
it says you're talking up on the
How?
screen.
So when Brian gets us all this new stuff, is it gonna be easier?
It says end all or leaving
Sorta.
meeting. Am I not in the right meeting? I did. Okay. Just say join. I'm gonna join. What's the enter member ID or personal link? Is that just me? I can't do
John,
the
thanks
email
for
and this at the same
giving us
time.
your chairs and
Oh.
podium yesterday.
Oh, I gotta write, I mean, I
Oh,
gotta type
now
all
they're his
that in
chairs.
there?
Wait till you want, we get a broken one, then there are.
Well,
I was gonna
it,
tell you, that it's all broken now. I need all
we
these
had them
chairs.
on that concrete. They weren't,
I can't hear you, so you're just gonna have to tell me it over the phone.
yeah,
It all worked out.
yeah.
Kristen? Enter meeting ID or personal link name.
We could sing rounds or wanna do row,
'Cause
row,
this is
row
not-
your
oh, I
boat,
guess I
you
can
and
work on this for-
Carrie, and then we'll.
Go to that link that you sent
990.
everybody, Debbie. Look at your email that you sent and see if that.
She's
Start
like my
over.
wife.
No, start over. 9901. Yep.
Does Kathy do that to you, Jeff?
Do what?
704.
She knows better.
Whatever, I've been there when she's done it to you, man. Don't try that.
Okay, meeting passcode.
It's kind of a wife
Yeah.
deal, you know, just shut.
Hey, as far as she knows, I'm still feeling bad.
463.
I don't know, I feel kind of weak today. Can you make me supper? It's been 4 weeks. That was the greatest thing. I was cooking every day. It's like, oh, this is gonna be the best food ever, and you can't taste anything. It's
Since we're on break right now, did you get a deer?
with the bow.
Did you-
No, we're still trying,
Oh, I saw that.
hey, John, we are still
Yeah,
broadcasting.
I'm getting off this phone.
It's all
I'm
right.
good with that.
No. No. I'm just getting out of this business completely. Okay, everybody there?
Yeah.
Yes.
Some Jonce's job,
Okay, so while you're gone,
job description.
we solved all the world's problems.
Start my video.
And they passed my budget.
And I got
Okay, you guys all there?
my
We're back.
All right.
Porsche 911.
So where were we? I don't
And my Porsche 911.
know. Oh,
Well, I think we're trying to decide whether we're gonna allocate for phase 4, if we're just gonna leave it in phase 3 and people can apply.
If
We
we
were
can
talking
rein-
about the salaries that we have eligible is just, that's all salaries, that's not just COVID related, so.
well, what I had submitted to Julie was their total salary for those 3 departments from March of when they started till the end of October. And so the one sheet that she was referring to was the health department did go back and specify which workers were working on what for how much time. So I think that's where we were, and I missed what John said.
So that's really not what we're gonna be allocating for the total salary.
So that's up to you guys, I guess.
We can stay in phase 3 and just see what applications we get if they reach out to the schools, and I know healthcare is gonna have more expenses, cause this is, they're overwhelmed. We're transporting patients, and now I think Columbia's overwhelmed, and so we're taking patients to St. Louis, and they're overwhelmed, so I think St. Mary's is even opening their 5th floor, so it's, so we can stay in phase 3 if you want, Jeff, and just
I'm fine with
look at
that
applications
for now.
next week, and we just need to,
But do you tell the schools that we may be opening it up for approximately $400 more per student? Because we did $100 before, and you're saying we can do 500 now. Basically, no strings attached, and we can do whatever we want to on it, but.
Well, that's
Correct, that includes all funding that they've gotten from CRF money too, so we'd have to double check with that. Go ahead, Julie.
I was just gonna mention, I think when we first talked about the $1 million reallocation, that worked out to be about $70 a student.
Yeah, I think it was 67 and change.
Yeah.
Oh, it's well
Oh.
under than.
okay,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
So I think we could certainly stick with it, that would be, for now, that would be at least the cap. It doesn't, they're gonna be eligible, but if they wanted to make an application, they certainly could.
Yeah, and to that point, it wouldn't, they wouldn't have to find expenses and stuff, they would just have to fill out the application again, so it wouldn't be too burdensome on that. I know they're all very busy over there, so hopefully they can spend a little bit of time just filling out the app and then just saying they need money.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't have to find, Chromebooks or whatever to purchase. They wouldn't need to do that.
And we can put together, just a communication piece, and we could, send out an email, we could send it to you all, even for Thursday, we could let you take a look at it and then just put that out to the community.
And before you did $100, you may think of just doing $50 per student and that will get you underneath that amount, but just to give them some kind
Yeah.
of idea, because already Jeff City Public Schools is way over that, what they're asking for, so.
Right.
So it's up to you. Or if you just want to let them submit whatever they want to submit, it's up to you.
Yeah, we'll just leave it open.
Well, they can submit what they want to submit, but it's, BKD, you'll still go what we've got and what we can allocate, so.
Right, but it's all up to you guys, whether you want to go over that million, whether you want to stay below that million, whether you even want to do another million. It's definitely up to you guys.
I wouldn't want to go over it.
But it just gives them some kind of guidance to go by.
I think either to say that as a as a cap for now, I think it would we could either say $50 a student or 70, just from a, to set that expectation. Again, you can always do more. It's hard to pull back the reins, so.
But if it's $67 a student, say if you did $60, which is not, then you still have a little bit of a slush fund there, but I don't know, 50
Yeah,
or,
that'd be 891,000.
yeah.
I'd still like to take a bigger look at our internal needs and then work backwards and see what we have left.
Okay.
Chris, is that where you are?
And I'm just not ready to reallocate any funding at this time.
Okay,
Well, I'll go ahead and do a letter just so you guys can look at it. I won't send it out, but if we want to do that for Thursday.
And
okay,
we don't have, and we won't put any limitation of dollars at this point,
Okay.
so.
okay.
Didn't we do that when we started this? We're trying to get an idea of what the needs were gonna be. It was just kind of a feeler. And they don't have to actually submit an application, but to see what they think they've got out there that they still need, and it's kind of a preliminary guess.
That was kind of a needs assessment to see where we were at the very beginning before we even started any of this. So, I mean, we can go back and look at those if you want to look at those.
All right, let's ask them for what their current needs are,
Right.
because it's changed a lot
Changed,
since
yeah.
what we did way back when. I
I'm
mean,
not talking about just the schools. I'm talking about
Yeah.
anybody that wants to.
I think everything's changed.
I don't
Consi-
think we have time to go back and ask them for that stuff yet. 6 weeks left.
Yeah, for not the schools, for the city, we still have that 9 million initial application that they submitted that we could go back to.
The city's got plenty, but the hospitals and medical establishments could, I'm sure they've got a lot more they could submit too, so if you just got an idea.
Right.
And then the schools, ask them if they've got something, I mean, maybe there's something out there that they wanna buy, but they're not gonna buy it because they don't know if they're gonna be reimbursed yet, and they're kinda waiting for us, waiting for the chicken to lay the egg, so.
So do you want us to, reach out to those, the schools, the cities, and those that have applied, and give them a deadline to get back to us by end of day tomorrow to,
I do healthcare too. I think all of them, because I'm
sorry.
kind of, I do healthcare as well, because I'm like Jeff, I think healthcare is overwhelmed right now. So, we need to look at all of them and see, what their requirements are.
I think if we just give them that requirement of end of day, tomorrow, so that we can present something to you Thursday, and then there's still enough time before the holiday to, distribute additional funds if needed, or to decide to wait and, use them internally, however we want to do it. But I agree, I think if you take a week or so for them to present something, then you're gonna have lost that time.
They've got an idea what they need. I just ask them what they think they
Yeah.
need, and
Yeah,
we can.
because with 6 weeks left to go, we've got to, we've got to
So we're
move.
saying
They would help.
schools, cities, and healthcare?
Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
Internal,
I'm sorry,
internal,
internal, yeah,
everybody.
yeah, okay. What else?
That's all we have.
All right, thank you, Julie.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lori.
Thank you.
You-
Bye-bye.
Chris, you just hang hang on.
Yeah.
All right, we're good.
Okay. So we'd have approval of CARES Act signing of subrecipient agreements?
I don't have any.
You don't have them, okay. Recorder's office to discuss care funding request.
I think I emailed most of the pages that they had sent me, so I'm just gonna give you the pertinent.
Cot systems?
The pertinent,
Is that what you got, the cot systems?
Yeah.
Yeah.
so what this is a request for electronic conversion, and also it will be integrated into our existing software system. And what this does is allow, as you know, we are still taking requests from people to come in and research, mostly the title companies and attorneys, and we're still just letting 2 to 3 people in. And most of our documents in the past, it has taken about 20 years to get a lot of the easements, right-of-ways, deeds online. And this is our mortgages and our liens, so it'd be anything that's a lien against the property. These are the deeds that we do not have converted yet. So this would be like our aperture cards. I'm trying to breathe through this thing. Fogging up my glasses. And basically the quote is based on converting these aperture cards into digital. And some of them are substandard. So this company has quality high-tech equipment, and their quote is comparable to other companies, but they are better. I've looked at their quality, I've looked at their work, and I know it'd be done correct. Plus, they do all of the overseeing, wherein 10 years ago, we used to do our own. We had to go in and check each image. This company does all of the quality control for us.
How often do those change, Judy? If there's a lien on it at one point, then it's satisfied or whatever and taken off, then do they go in and change that, you know, even if it's 2 years
No, we
from
link
now?
right, no, we link up the release, so everything is a link. So the book and page, if it's
Okay.
released, then we would link up the book and page with it. And on some of these old ones, it's written here, so they have to physically go in and they will link that up with this lien,
So then now the title company be able to go into that,
digitally,
find
yeah.
out, get your lien release, and then have it all ready to go by Friday for your closing on your property.
Right, they can
Rather
do it
than
from their
having-
office instead of coming in and researching.
So do they have to pay some kind of subscription fee, or is there
They
to
pay,
access it, or?
right, yes, they do. They pay $250 a month. Most of them already do that. They pay $250 a month or $20 a day.
For like a one-time access for that day?
Yes.
Okay.
So is there a yearly fee thereafter to COT systems? I mean,
No. No, this is a one-time cost. And then the image will all be there, and it will be, they'll convert the substandard images that we have into legibility, so it will be easy for them to do it virtually, but we still would have to do the indexing. So staff is still gonna have to do the indexing, but a lot of the title companies, they have book and page. So you'd be able to search it by book and page, not by name. So it wouldn't be complete. This is just doing the conversion of the image, making it digital. And what we watch when we do the digital conversion like that, what we watch is really the pagination numbers, because you have different sources. You know, you have the books, you have microfilm, you have aperture cards. So what we've been doing for the last 10, 15 years is getting all of it digital. And you have to be careful with how you enter book and pages, just to make sure, you know, because you could have book 420, page 1, in the old deed book, you can have it in microfilm, you could have it in aperture cards, so converting it is what I work on, so that we don't overlay images.
So then the aperture cards have to be sent to COT. Do we have copies of them then, or do we have duplicates?
We don't have duplicates, and they will pick them up. What I use for a backup sometimes is Cole County Abstract and Title, because they have copies of all of them that they paid for years and years ago.
Okay, I think that was my concern, was if we're sending them up there and there's no backup to it, but we do have.
We don't have duplicates anymore. We used to. They were stored over in the assessor's basement, and then we had some issues with mold. That was 20 years ago. But we do use Cole County for a backup. We've had a reciprocal verbally agreement with them for the 20 years that I know of.
So if something happened to them while they were on the way to COT or on the way back, we'd have access to
I would be
something.
able to retrieve the image.
Okay. So,
Chris, I scanned that and emailed it to you if you want to look at it.
I'm looking at it right now. Thank you.
It's a big project, but it's a big project for us too, and this has been ongoing ever since I've been in the recorder's office, to get everything digital in case something like this would happen. I mean, all the title companies and attorneys are always panicked that we're gonna shut the doors, but I don't have any intentions of doing that.
did you run this through BKD to see if it's eligible? I mean, it seems like it would be, but did we run it through, or you want to bring it up here to get permission to run it through? And
That's how we have been telling people. since
okay,
the beginning.
I'm fine with running it through BKD and see if it's eligible. And this is where I'm at with all this stuff for our internal things. If somebody's got something that we need to get it going now.
You don't want them to bring it to you first? You want them to just go online and make an application?
Yeah, I mean, you can bring it to us, and we haven't run into one yet that we've said, no, doesn't matter if it qualifies, we're not gonna do it anyway, have we? But,
No, it just gives you a heads up before it goes there if it's something you really don't think we should be using that money for.
It's a lot of money, 150,000 is a lot of money. But they don't have to physically come to the courthouse, so I guess it protects them more. I'd send it to BKD and see if they think it qualifies.
I think that's what we were up here doing, see if it's okay.
Yeah.
I'm fine with it.
I know in previous years, grants that I've done just with the state, I've done a 70-30 where they've paid 70, we paid 30. I mean, I could, if it doesn't qualify 100%, I could pay 30% out of the recorder's fund and at least get it digital, which would be helpful.
I say run it through BKD.
Yeah, I'd say send it to them and
Okay.
let's
If you
see
don't
what
want
they,
online, too.
You good
And
with
do
that,
the
Chris?
application. Okay, I'll do that. Yep, run it through BKD?
Jeff and Sam are nice. I'd have told you no, Judy. Sorry. But, anyway, that's just where I was at on this one. But anyway,
Sam
send it to
sounded
them,
like
see
a
what they
maybe
say.
at least.
yeah,
I'm sorry, what did
I'm
he
kind of a
say?
maybe. We can run it through, we can still deny it.
So don't do the application?
No, do it.
Do the application?
That's,
Oh, Chris
Okay,
is telling me
said
now?
He would have been a no, and I told him, I said, well, Sam was kind of a maybe, so.
yeah, so,
And that's why we bring them to you guys.
I'm gonna send all the calls to Chris when we get them, from title companies and lawyers and everybody who needs to access the
I won't
information.
answer 'em.
So just go pick up the
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
Run it
Yes.
through there,
Okay.
if it flies, then we can come down to.
okay.
what we
Okay,
wanna
all
do with
right,
it, so.
thank you.
Okay, surplus of vehicles,
Thanks, Chris.
surplus of vehicles.
These, I don't know if these are what, did you have something for surplus vehicles or
Did
just
you-
the titles?
Yeah, those are the ambulances, right? Yeah, these would be the two ambulances that we've retired.
Yeah,
The one that's not running and the one that's, aged out.
They're classics. These are classics. You got,
If
to
somebody wants to come see him, just have to get a hold of
They're,
you.
yeah, they can,
Yeah.
they're in the back, but yeah, if they'll call Matt or I, we'll be glad to.
We're gonna put them through, the purchasing agent to bid those out.
Right, but if they want to look at them,
Sure.
so they know what they're bidding on, just have them call us.
Okay, we'll work with,
Yeah.
work with Jessica on that. Those are just signing them to be ready for when we're ready to sell.
Is that it?
Yeah,
Yep,
Thank you.
yep.
you'll look at them next week.
When does that go on there, David? Starting off Purple Wave, right?
I will, no, you're not.
How long does it stay on there, do you know?
I think 10, what is it, 7?
3 days, 7 and 14, I think.
Yeah. So what do they normally run?
Whatever you want, I think I just did
2 weeks, yeah.
2
Okay.
weeks.
That gives everybody a chance to find them, and then that way if they want to come look at them, it gives them time to come look at them.
I'll have Leonard come out.
There you go.
That'd be a good campaign vehicle for me. 2 years.
So make a motion to sign them.
Art by Leonard.
Do what?
Any action on that?
Yeah, I just need a motion to sign those surplus titles, please.
Are we signing them today? We're not selling them yet. We're just
No,
gonna,
just have them ready for when they do go.
okay.
And they're gonna go like hotcakes. They're
Make a
gonna,
motion to sign, 2 ambulance surplus titles.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
Oh, so we just signed them one every
Okay.
week.
Okay,
The salvage titles, no problem.
Matthew, IV pump purchase.
So if we can move that one down to below, but
Okay.
your ones if you don't mind.
Which one you wanna do?
So we're gonna take the cage off, the oxygen cage off. We've got some prices that we didn't think were good pricing, and so we'd like to have an opportunity to go back and we'll bring that one back forward when we get pricing we think's
Okay.
more fair.
So which one you wanna do now?
So if we can do the oxygen one, so this is an oxygen cascade. What it does is it allows us to do what's called transfill. So basically in our ambulances, we have these large M tanks, and the M tanks are extremely heavy. We are using oxygen more frequently. COVID, obviously, we're
Yeah.
putting more people on oxygen and transporting for longer distances. So it also takes a lot of time to take a truck out of service, because as soon as you disconnect that oxygen tank, they're out of service, then we've got to move them around, put them back in. We run the risk of back injuries for work comp because they're trying to lift this into the side of the ambulance. What this does is allows us just to hook a hose to the tank that stays in the ambulance, and then we just transfill it, or basically through the pressure gradient, refill the oxygen tank in there. It's faster and it's safer. So we'd ask for approval of that. It's $2,615 to do that. Pretty standard at most agencies. So, and here's that for you. I only got one copy.
Okay.
Oh, you're running that through?
We'd like, yes, so the way that it's worked is we have to bring it to you guys first before we can submit an application for CARES.
Do we need to sign that or whatever?
Well, no, I just didn't know if you wanted to see it.
So,
I'm fine.
So you're gonna run that through and then we'll,
yes, sir.
okay?
Okay,
Next.
but I'd like permission to purchase it and then run it to CARES, if we can do that.
I'm good.
I'm good, yeah.
We're just gonna take it out of contingency then for now.
And then we'll backfill that, if that's okay.
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 And then this is just, if you guys approve this is just the application. So,
Is this like emergency purchase first? I don't know how much it costs.
it's 2,000,
2,000.
so it's like 2,600, I think, roughly.
Yeah, $2,615.
Yeah, so it's under the bid requirement, and we've not bought anything from them before.
If you
so-
wanna, do you want,
No, it's fine, I don't think I.
okay, okay.
Just think it's-
So the next one is the IV pumps. So last year we bought IV pumps, we bought refurbished IV pumps. And so we bought 12 of them with what are called 2 channels. So we can take 2 medications that are on an IV system. Our transports are longer, more complex, and we require more channels or more pumps to be able to do this. The other issue that we're having is the ones that we bought are extremely heavy, so they're not getting utilized inside the home when we're hanging medications in the home because they're so cumbersome, they're falling off and they're breaking. We've had to send some back in for repairs, things like that, which then has an impact. What we'd like to do is purchase ones that are specific for EMS and flight services. So they're certified for ground ambulance transport and helicopter transport. What this does is they're about a pound a piece, so we can put one in a bag that weighs already inside instead of taking this 4 or 5 pound device inside. The other thing it does is with the quantity we would purchase, we would have 3 pumps that can utilize the different medications. The other good part about that is if the battery were to fail or something were to happen, you still have those other pumps if you weren't using 3 pumps. Currently, if the battery fails or something happens, it shuts both channels down, and then we don't have that backup or that redundancy system. I checked with MU, Air, and things like that about theirs, and they actually carry 6. They have 3 primaries and 3 backups. We're just looking to put 3 on the truck and not have any quote-unquote backups like they do. We'll have the capability that if we need to, we'll have some spares in the supervisor's truck, the battalion chief's truck, to take up. So if they end up with 3 or 4 or 5 medications on a pump, we can augment that with them by doing that. So we'd like approval if possible for that. It would replace these, and then what we would do with the current pumps, they're more of a hospital type pump. We just couldn't afford the other types of pumps before. And so what we would do is just, put them up for sale or try to find someone to buy so we can recoup some of that previous cost. The cost for in total is $56,910. One of the reasons why we'd like to do this in an emergency purchase is when we're speaking with them, there was a mass recall of IV pumps used by EMS and flight services that basically this company is now going out of business. And part of the bankruptcy, my understanding is part of the bankruptcy requirement is that they're supplementing some of the cost pumps to get replaced through this company. So there's becoming a shortage of pumps, and as the hospitals start to fill up, pumps are becoming more and more scarce. So our concern is that if we wait and go through the bidding process, we may get to a choke point where we don't have that capability. So we'd like this to go on our emergency purchase. If not, we can put it out for bid. That's just the risk that we run.
So this company's in bankruptcy,
No,
or
sir.
this is the new company to replace?
This isn't a new company to replace them. This is the company that all the flight services and ground services are going to replace the FDA recalled these previous pumps. And this is the company that's basically kind of the go-to replacement for them because they are ground and air certified. So because of that, there's an influx of orders because of that recall that everybody's going through. MU just went through the recall.
So they're lightweight and more portable?
Oh, absolutely.
Friday, I was switching out cars, putting one away, getting out another one. One of our ambulances was there with the fire truck, and you're bringing a patient down the steps, and I only saw one of our people. He was in full PPE. Fire department was just in regular uniforms, but I watched and I thought, oh my God, because we're talking some steep steps to bring a cot down. It took 3 of them to get it down. I don't know where the EMT, he was probably still inside. Maybe there was another patient you were transporting or something.
They might have been gathering.
But anything, Karen,
So
you get some situations where the environment is not easy to.
So anything that reduces the weight requirements, first off, is important. But also with this, it increases our capabilities to take more medications that require pumps for accurate dosing. So, so we asked for your approval under an emergency purchase. And then what we would do is and then submit this for CARES approval.
I'm fine.
Yeah, we talked about it, and I had some questions about it too, and if we wait and go through the carriers and then order the other stuff, it'll be February before we get it, or not order stuff, but go through the bid and stuff, and it's something we need to get going now.
Yeah. I'm a visual person, so when I see when I see our people in operation, it's like, whoa. Yeah,
Sure. Okay, and then with that is the 30-day, net 30 application that they require. It's basically to open a new account.
Yeah.
And so that we just need that signed as well as if you approve the purchase.
Chris?
Do you want me to send you a copy, Chris, or do you have all of this?
Can you hear?
Chris? No,
He's muted.
he doesn't show me it.
Are you muted, Chris?
Oh, no, I heard something.
I think your speaker blew.
We got $9 million and we can't get a speaker.
I am waiting on,
I'm waiting for you to chuck it at me, but
it's, yes.
Chris, nod your head. Are you good with this? Yeah, okay. Say, okay. You want to make a motion to make this an emergency purchase?
Technology, yeah, so moved.
A second. You okay, Chris?
He
Okay.
needs to make 2 papers that says yes and no.
So I'm gonna sign this new customer application.
All right, so we had the motion.
All in favor? Aye. Okay.
That's not your fault.
Let the record show that Chris nodded his head.
Okay.
Yeah, thumbs up, okay.
Okay. What else? What now,
Do
Matt?
you have your agenda on there? Do you have a copy?
Isn't life technology wonderful?
I mean, it really did.
Okay, so the next thing on the agenda that we can talk about is the staffing and stuff like that. So I think that's probably, we kind of started to talk about it last Tuesday. So I sent you guys an email just kind of letting you guys know where we were at for the year so far, or for the last 3 months. So in March, so mid-March through May, we saw a drastic downtick in calls by about 60%. In the last 3 months, we've seen a drastic uptick from our baseline. So last year, and I'll give you some examples so that way, everybody has it on the record. So in August of last year, we ran 858 calls. This year, we've run in August 966. So that's an increase of 108 calls in 1 month. September, we saw an increase of 136 calls over last year. In October, it was 116. If our current numbers per day continue for this month, we'll be at 1,263 calls in totality, which is a total increase of 326 calls over last year for November only. Our staff can't keep up with that. Not only is it an increase in calls, but the complexity of the calls and the distance that we're taking them and the time we're spending. So kind of as I put in my email, we're having to take approximately 25 to 30 minutes to disinfect and get an ambulance ready once we transport someone that has either confirmed COVID or suspected COVID based on symptoms. So that adds into the average time. Then if we transport out of the county up to MU or to another location, that adds time. And then we're taking more into the Kansas City and St. Louis area. And again, those are 5 and 6 hours, not including your decontamination times, things like that. So we're starting to go daily to a status 0 at some point throughout the day. What status 0 is no ambulance is available in the county. So then we're trying to call on our other counties, or surrounding us, to respond to a call should one come in, which then starts to tax their system as well. So we need to start looking at adding some units. So we came up with a plan, and we've also spoken with 2 fire departments, and so about Osage Fire Protection District and Cole County Fire Protection District, and adding bedrooms because that's part of the issue. So putting one in Wardsville, and that would be a 24-hour truck that we would need to put bedrooms and a small kitchenette in. They seem amicable. We're still waiting for their board to make a decision. And then what it sounds like would be is we would pick up the utilities for that station. And then the county park station that we currently occupy for 12 hours a day, we would then make that a 24-hour But what we would do is we would move the truck out of the jail that's currently 24 and put it there. So we wouldn't be adding another 24-hour. And then we would be taking some peak units and putting it in the jail. So there'd still be that same coverage, but that is our busiest location is downtown. And so that will give them a break, as far as they're not running 24 hours in our busiest locations. So all in all, what we would be proposing, at least, in a more temporary and through attrition, once this problem, COVID and our call volume starts to decrease on a substantial aspect, right? Through attrition, we would just not replace those positions as time came. So what we're proposing to do is add a 24-hour truck into the system and then add another 12-hour truck to augment those that call volume. So what we'd like to do with that, though, is hire paramedics for all those positions because they're more likely through attrition to be able to do that. EMTs generally have not been leaving. It's been the paramedics because there's more job opportunities for them. So we would like to do that through paramedics. And then, again, as this, hopefully starts to wind down, or at least our call volume stabilizes to where we're not seeing these increases, then we can start to ramp that down through attrition. But we cannot keep up with the current call volume. And I think the numbers show that.
Yeah, and a few months ago, we were so short of paramedics, so I'm fine with getting paramedics, because I think it does.
Sure.
Yeah, we've got to take care of our citizens of Cole County, and
Yeah, they're working hard. I'm proud of our staff. They're doing everything right. They're, it's a taxing job for them normally, and this has just increased that. And so anything we can do to make sure we have available ambulances and that we're not running them, into the ground to where, it's unsustainable for them
yeah,
as
these
well.
are not normal times.
So I'm open to any questions that you have.
Chris, are you able to hear us and talk now?
I hear you.
Hey.
Hey,
Touch.
So you got to do the 24-hour and the 12-hour shifts. How many?
So that would be a total of 10 paramedics.
Okay.
So it's
You
four,
said,
it would be 4 for the peak hour truck and 6 for the 24-hour truck. So we're trying to balance that.
Okay, so what if you can't get that many paramedics? Are you gonna backfill with?
So what we would do is depending on where we were at in that process, we would either have to come back and either talk about doing EMTs and then come up with a plan from there, or we would try to staff it with some overtime. If we were close to the, obtaining those numbers, we can use some overtime while we're still in that process. So this is, we didn't expect it to spike so quickly, so fast. I guess that's exactly the same thing. So we didn't expect it to spike so fast. Unfortunately, the reality is we're not the only place that's having that. So if you look at MU, they're in a color code system now. I believe the last time we looked it was yellow. I know Boone started canceling all elective procedures, I believe, until January or February. And so the healthcare system is taking a pretty strong hit. And as an extension of the healthcare system, and that's unique about us, we are part of the healthcare system, but we're also an emergency response agency. So we kind of have 2 roles that we have to play with that. And this is only going to get harder in the near future. Some of the things that I have seen is that they expect additional spikes due to the election, is I think part of what we're seeing now, and then Thanksgiving as well. So about 10 days after that is what I'm seeing from my other job.
And then Christmas.
Well, and right.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. Christmas and New Year's will be.
Right at Christmas.
Yeah, right. So, again, and none of this, and the sad part of any of this is this doesn't take into the flu, and the flu is normally our busiest season. So when that starts to compile, if we don't act now, my fear is that we won't be able to keep up, and we'll be behind the 8 ball even further than we are. And it's not to be doom and gloom and the sky is falling, Chicken Little stuff. The reality is I think the columns show that we're in that situation now.
yeah,
Yeah, I agree. You got the numbers that show it. My main concern though would be if we get hit and we lose a few or to quarantine, or if they catch it, then we've got this to kind of back us up and to fill.
At one point, we had 16 of our staff in an isolated or quarantine status for a short time. And so that was rough on the staff, and that was when we were not in a peak time. So I believe we currently have one out in quarantine with a
we
positive
talked
test.
That's amazing.
As well about, doing the paramedics, and why not just do the paramedic EMT? It'd be, cost less obviously for salaries, but we go through the paramedics faster, so once this stuff does slow down again, then through attrition, we get rid of people. 'Cause we're not gonna be able to hire people, tell them we just want them for
Yeah.
2 months and then they're gone, so.
No. And if we have to, then they can man the QRV and go, because I still think
So that's one of
we
the
could
things.
end up being at that stage in December.
So that's one of the things we're actually
If-
going to start implementing while we're in the process of
Yeah.
doing this is put up the QRV with some staff. And then we'll lower acuity calls. Will first get triaged by the paramedic. And then if transport is needed, then we'll call. It'll delay the transport aspect of it, but not the initial care piece. And that's being used successfully throughout the nation right now as a model of waiting to try to augment the staff. So sometimes you can non-transport them if they're not serious. And then, but if there's something that needs to be transported to the hospital, then they would call for an ambulance. Again, it doesn't take away the transport numbers, but it may help us at least establish that initial care faster.
And these are all full-time positions?
Correct.
I think that's the only way you get them.
I don't, whatever, we'd have to look at it.
I think that's the only way you're gonna get them, yeah. These are not normal times.
Unfortunately.
What do you think the total cost on adding 10 new full-time people?
So I don't know the total cost on that. I believe, so if you look at their 51,000 for a starting salary, and then, you add your benefits in, and I believe, do you remember the total cost with benefits? I want to say it was an
It's
extra.
going to be 60 plus thousand, 20% probably on benefits.
40.
40?
Yeah.
So, right, it's a substantial number, right? So you're probably looking at, $800,000 to $900,000 in this initial time frame to try to accomplish this. But again, I don't know, other than cutting out transfers completely, which then keeps the resources local, but then there's no resources to move patients, and that's what we need. So then, now we're not helping out the healthcare system or the patients that need to get moved. So, we've pretty much racked our brain, David, I, and our staff, trying to figure out how we can accomplish this otherwise, and this is the cheapest actual option that we came up with.
So, this isn't going to be a budgeted amount as we start budget here this
No.
next month, so it's
Yeah.
going to be an added expense. You're either going to have to eat somewhere, or you're going to have to take some of this CARES money, and you're going to have to put it in Matt's budget, so.
I would like to use the CARES money if we can. It's,
So I think the only
this
way
is
we-
definitely care related. It's,
So I think the only way we'd be able to do that is basically to put it into the salary
Yeah.
line and then push that money forward for next year.
yeah, this is, normal times you wouldn't be asking for this and we'd be saying
It
hell no.
wasn't in my budget.
Yeah,
it
we'd
wasn't
be
a budget
saying hell
request.
no, but these are not,
Yeah, we had proposed no
Ordinary
staffing
times.
increases in our budget this year.
so you truly are the front line. It's,
Our staff's doing an excellent job, so.
Works, that doesn't count the modifications that might have to be done at the fire stations, if you could get that worked out either.
yeah,
Right, so we're waiting, we should have bids today from Tom, who did the stuff at the headquarters for the social distancing in bedrooms. He went out on Thursday and Friday to both the Wardsville station and the one in County Park. And we should have, did he go to County Park one?
He's been to County Park. He was supposed to go to Wardsville yesterday.
Oh, yesterday he was supposed to go to Wardsville, so I apologize.
It was Friday before I had the information, and I pushed it to him, but it was late today, Friday, before I could. Because if you'll remember, I didn't meet with Wardsville
That's
until
right.
5:30 in the evening Friday.
Right. So we should have those informations, and again, that would be putting bedrooms, and I think County Park needs a shower put in, but they have everything else, the 2 bedrooms and a
So
shower.
this is gonna be, end up being about $1 million by the time. we get it all.
Potentially,
Yeah,
correct.
so there you go, Jeff,
What's that?
the money we've got left over that,
He says it's gonna cost a lot.
yeah,
Oh, I know.
yeah,
That's why I said I wanted to wait and see where we were at internal,
yeah.
so.
So, I just need to know if there's something else you'd like us to try to come up with, or if we can move forward with this plan.
I'm good moving forward. We're gonna have to.
Yeah,
I'm good.
yep.
Okay. Yes, yes. I don't know, do they need to vote to add those positions, I would assume?
Might be clear.
Okay, so if you guys can vote to add those 10 positions in, that way we could,
How are you gonna,
I don't know for how long.
because yeah, that's exactly what I was gonna get at, so we're gonna add the positions till December 31st.
No.
no.
No, they'd have to be, they're gonna be, but you're,
My suggestion maybe what to do is to add them in, and then when we get to a point where we're no longer seeing these, we can, through attrition, just start slowly as they leave, we'll just start subtracting that out of the full-time employee allotment.
at one time, weren't we down about 8?
Yeah, about 5 months ago there was.
Yeah, we were down
and
about
so-
8, so I think natural attrition's gonna, it's, they come and go, and
They
they
do.
find green
They're-
grass somewhere else, or,
I mean,
So I'm
there's
like-
been a national shortage for 5 years. and
yeah, I'm like,
And lives change.
Yeah,
People-
yeah,
people's
yeah,
spouses
so-
move, people have educational issues, there's life
So-
change.
Then how are you gonna word that?
uh,
I mean, we're gonna revisit it monthly, we're gonna look at, call volume at the end of every month or each quarter, or how do you wanna do that? So,
we're adding 10 new paramedic positions, and it's gonna be permanent, but then as we lose some,
My guess would be is you won't see a decrease in this, just based on what we're seeing and I'm reading.
not,
Till after March, and the reason for that is because of the flu season. On
right,
top of
cause
it.
you know
So,
what to believe that you read?
the stuff I'm reading, I do.
Sorry, I'm gonna throw you under the bus
Yes,
on
the
that
stuff
one.
I'm reading, I do have, I believe. So.
Oh, yeah, I know everybody's got the inside scoop on it, and
I think it's wishful thinking in March.
yeah, I
Right,
think,
But everything, I mean, I don't think you're so.
none of us have a
historically-
crystal ball is what I'm getting to, so,
March and April is when you normally see the flu start to decrease, and I think that's going to drive this even harder. So I think probably April 1st would be a good time to start looking at it, to see, are we still ticking? And we'll be honest brokers in this, that if all of a sudden our call volume drops off, we'll come back and tell you that.
yeah, I mean, you're a department under us, it's not like you're a sheriff elected official or something, you know. He's not listening right now. So, but I'm also wanna just have some kind of guidance on it, how we're gonna watch the numbers and
I think
see
quarterly
where
would be
the
a
call
good-
volume goes, and
Quarterly would probably be more accurate, as you see those things, would be my guess.
yeah, well, you'll have a pretty good idea each month too, though. If they do have a vaccine and things slow down, then we'll do it quicker, and
they're gonna have 3 vaccines, but it's still getting them out to the people, and
Yeah.
just have a Ferris wheel and you jump on it.
Well, and I'll just throw my 7 cents worth in. The other thing
You're
that we
only getting a
don't
penny
know.
for your thoughts, though.
That's why I said 7. I thought there were 7, not a penny. But another thing that he and I
Turn
need
that
want to take
microphone.
account for is mental health. So between what's going on with COVID and making people lock down, and what's going on with COVID itself, we have no idea, and we're going into the time frame whenever we start having more mental health issues out there. So, and then there's no, we're having to go farther away from here to transport them to, because there's no beds. So we're going to find, you're going to find that's going to be another increase that I'm going to be dealing with, but so is he.
yeah.
So
because they go with us on our mental
Yep.
health transfers.
So
If they're 96-hour.
Well, and even if I don't ride with him, he's still got to take him someplace else, to St. Louis or someplace else, and loses it, not for COVID, but
Veda.
for this.
We've actually been asked to be transporting patients to Arkansas and Illinois. We refuse to transport that far because we can't, just for the health of the system. And so, but it may come to that where that is the only definitive care that they may be able to get at some point. So I do think that it's important that, at some point, we're gonna have to also start looking at, what are our transport policies? Do we need to amend? We have transport policies, but do we need to amend them?
Distance.
But the problem again with that is, and we have some plans basically, if we start getting into situations where we start seeing mass quantities of quarantine within the department, we will start shrinking our transport radius. Or we'll adjust the hours that we'll do for, those routine transports, where we'll take them, where we won't. Part of that, though, becomes a little impractical because if there's no bed within that 60-mile radius or that 100-mile radius, now we then have to again, for the good of the patient, try to transport them out. So there's this constant juggling that we're doing right now, and it's changing, every other day, every 3 days, every day. It just depends on where we're at with it. So there's no easy answer to this, and this is certainly not something that we wanted to, I didn't put it in my budget because I thought we were doing well when I submitted in August or September 1st, and then we started seeing these, consistent upticks, and it's something that we're gonna have to address. Now, the good part about this is, with these upticks, hopefully we'll see additional revenue, which will hopefully help offset some of those costs as well. So that is the possibility. And the complexity of the transports are increasing. So as we get more critical care paramedics, those transports to other facilities, we can start charging critical care fees, which are substantially more than a standard ALS-2 call costs from the different insurance companies. So there's some offset. It's not going to obviously offset all 10 of those, but we will have some offset from reimbursement.
I'm good with moving forward. I just had the question on how we wanted to word the motion just to approve the
I will make a
24-hour
motion if you want
shift in a
to
12-hour.
hire 10 new paramedics, and we remodel the Wardsville and County Park stations to
Well, so we don't have cost on those yet, so I'd like to wait until we
okay.
see the costs, and I'll bring those forward when we do.
I would make a motion, we hire 10 new paramedics.
So we got the 24-hour,
And
which is
a
gonna be
peak
6,
truck.
and then the 12-hour peak for 4 people.
That's correct, because they're offsetting shifts, so as they rotate their shifts, that's 4 people.
So we're basically gonna approve those shifts for now, and then we'll just revisit that as time goes on.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, so what was your motion?
I make a motion, we hire 10 new paramedics. And I will let them. Second?
Chris, you got any discussion or thing you wanna add?
No, I'm good.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Okay.
We'll report back with you.
Yeah, just keep us, but I don't think we're at the peak yet, so.
I don't think so
I
either,
don't
sir.
think so.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Do we have anything else before we go into closed session?
So our Zoom is probably gonna expire again, our 40 minutes, so do you just wanna call in, Chris, we can just put you on the phone, face chat or whatever they got?
You can probably just put me on the speakerphone on that
Okay.
landline phone there.
Okay.
Okay.
Anybody else?
Anything else before we go into closed?
I don't think so, I think that's it for me, so.
Okay.
Make a motion, we go in closed section for personnel issues pursuant to section 610.021, subsections 3 and 13.
Second, roll call.
Sam?
Yes.
Jeff?
Yes.
Chris?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
All in favor?
All in favor?
We
Aye.
just did roll call vote.
Oh, I know.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, we don't. Oh, Bob, come
She
on
just wants to
now.
write more stuff down.
Okay.
I might go get some